Gig is a term musicians use to define a single performance engagement. Economy is a structure of employers-employees relationships. The traditional economy implies companies and performers' stable, long-term connections. Gig economy is very different from the conventional one in this way. Initially, the term was coined by a former New Yorker editor Tina Brown in 2009. In gig economy, temporary positions are common, and organizations tend to hire independent workers for short-term commitments, like contracts or orders. As a result, their working conditions are quite flexible. Some other traits of gig economy are, for example, decomposition of jobs. Employees are given with more freedom while working on their tasks now, as long as the results fit in with the quality standards. Externalization of human capital. Instead of growing teams internally, required specialists are picked for specific projects and then released. Decentralization. Instead of reporting to a senior, gig employees report to a system. Automized processes decrease human factor, communication lag, and excessive control issues. Remote cooperation and flexible timing go along the way. Even though we tend to underestimate the importance of gig economy for nowadays society, it's almost everywhere now. This unparalleled shift in how people work can be ascribed to something that probably is a revolution on its own, to algorithmic management. This technology stands behind each trait of gig economy listed in the video. For example, with this technology, such companies as Uber is able to sustain a constantly growing network of drivers, distribute orders and check quality of rides automatically, remotely and instantly. Now everyone could benefit from gig economy using algorithmic management. For instance, for companies it's cheaper to engage specialists in their tasks as more available now part-time. Also, it's easier to find people as more specialists are available at a single point of time. Additionally, it cuts down such expenses as office maintenance, commuting compensations, headhunting, and health insurance coverage. Employees are also in advantage in gig economy. For instance, they may have a better work-life balance. People are free to choose tasks and positions that resonate with them the best. Just reward. Individuals are paid according to the complexity of the tasks they perform, unlike a full-time employee, which have a standardized salary and has to abide by the directives. Gig employees decide whether to take contracts for a stated reward or not. Just growth. In a gig economy, people are valued according to their professional abilities. The background doesn't really matter, and there is no office segregation between junior and senior employees. Therefore, the growth depends only on the individual's efforts, not corporate policies. Gig economy also creates a paradigm shift in inclusivity. Now people with disabilities and other special needs had an opportunity to work with such a comfort. Remote mode, flexible timing, and freedom of medians performing the task allows them to compete with other employees and be paid well. Customers, meanwhile, benefit from personalized approach and better pricing. It's almost too good to be true, right? Indeed, gig economy has its downsides that holds back its growing. For example, full-time employees out of scope. The new norm makes it harder to follow traditional path. Hiring temporary employees is more affordable, flexible, and convenient, so conventional employees have to adopt. Work-life balance. Surprisingly, independence may be challenging. When your home is your office, it's hard to distinguish the two. Also, stamina and self-discipline are needed. Without them, the individual's productivity and consequently earnings may drop. Tough competition. With long-term positions, it's relatively easy to hold one after achieving. In contrast, in the gig economy, individuals have to constantly fight for the best, most exciting and well-paid orders. Insecurity is also an issue. Gig employees' positions, by definition, are not stable. They are commonly not granted benefit packages like health insurance, salary bonuses, and sick leaves. Retirement planning is also their own responsibility. And probably the current major limitation of gig economy with algorithmic management is lack of understanding. While with a human manager, an employee can negotiate one's performance and justify some deviations from standards or guidelines. In the case of algorithms, a person can be mistakenly charged or even fired. Every time an employee does something not according to the protocols, it's blindly reported as misconduct. And the algorithms are commonly not sophisticated enough to judge good and bad intentions of deviations. So, even though gig economy has its disadvantages, we believe it's the future. We believe more regulations and protocols on basic rights of gig workers should be introduced to save them from being exploited, providing with a safety bottom line. We also expect gig platforms to build a tier-ranking system to tailor the complexity of gig offers by gig suppliers according to their difficulties and skills required. It would make the career pathway for a gig employee more clear and improve the overall quality of service in the industry. And finally, we expect the new gig platform's true transformation to decentralized autonomous organizations. By making the use of blockchain technology and smart contracts, gig platforms would be capable of handling tasks faster and smarter. In such a way, transparency would also be the point. Payments to gig workers can be allocated by cryptocurrency, allowing instant and secure overseas reimbursement, also helping gig workers to fight against inflation. Gig economy is reshaping how employees and employers interact. You need to be in the center of this revolution to stay relevant. So, good luck!